The steel doors of the Mombasa high-security courtroom don't just hold in a prisoner. They hold in a secret that the Kenyan government has been trying to bury for 3 years. On February 11, 2026, Paul Nthenge Mackenzie sat behind reinforced glass, not as a prophet, but as a man facing 52 fresh counts of terrorism and organized murder. But as the survivors took the stand, the good news facade didn't just crack, it shattered. One woman, who lost 4 children to the Shakahola red dirt, looked Mackenzie in the eye and asked a question that stopped the proceedings. "Who gave you the keys to the forest?" This wasn't a question about religion. It was a question about the system. For years, Mackenzie had been arrested, released, and protected. The 2026 trial has finally forced the world to look at the shadow masterminds, the powerful figures who funded the ranch and silenced the local police. This is part 3, the final reckoning. The January 2026 confession of Enos Amanya, known as Hallelujah, was just the beginning. The prosecution has now introduced evidence of the Malindi Ledger, a recovered document that lists regular payments from offshore accounts into Mackenzie's ministry. Forensic experts have linked these funds to a radicalization network that stretches far beyond the borders of Kenya. This proves that Mackenzie wasn't a lone wolf. He was a franchise. While he was the face of the starvation, someone else was the architect of the infrastructure. Someone paid for the armed security teams. Someone ensured that when the first reports of missing children surfaced in 2021, the investigations were quietly shuttered. The Shakahola massacre wasn't a religious accident. It was a state-level failure fueled by dark money. The forensic closure of this case remains a phantom. Chief pathologist Dr. Johansen Odwar has publicly admitted that as of March 2026, over 300 remains are still sitting in refrigerated containers, their DNA too degraded to ever be matched with their living relatives. These are the Nameless Ones, victims stripped of their IDs, their families, and finally their identities. They will never be named. They will never be claimed. The most terrifying update from the 2026 proceedings is the ghost cell theory. Intelligence reports suggest the second site at Kwa Binzaro was managed by a successor still at large, a man known only as the Shepherd. While Mackenzie faces a life sentence, the Shepherd is reportedly moving deeper into the Congolese jungle, taking the good news and the starvation schedule with him. The forest may be quiet now, but the contagion is moving. As the judge prepares to hand down the final sentence this month, the survivors of Shakahola are left with a haunting legacy. They are the living evidence of a prophecy that required their extinction. The final reckoning isn't about the man in the cage. It's about the ideology that convinced a mother to bury her own child and smile because she thought they were taking a jet to paradise. If the system that ignored 613 missing persons for 2 years can fail once, what is stopping the next prophet from rising in the shadows of another forgotten forest? The truth is no longer buried. It is staring us in the face. If you were a juror in this trial, and you found out that the man behind the glass was just a puppet for someone even more powerful who is still free, would you still call this justice? Or is justice just a word we use to sleep better at night? Drop your verdict in the comments. Your voice is what keeps these cases from being forgotten. Subscribe and turn on all notifications. This is Echoes of the Unsolved 001. The Shakahola chapter closes here, but the shadows don't stop at the Kenyan border. Something happened in the dense canopy of the Congo. An entire aircraft, a Boeing 727, didn't just crash. It was erased. It took off from Angola with its lights out and its transponder dead, carrying 2 men who weren't even certified to fly it. 200,000 pounds of silver metal vanished into a sky that hasn't given them back for over 20 years. Was it an insurance heist? Or did it land on a secret runway built for a war we aren't allowed to know about? The disappearance of 727 in Congo drops this Tuesday at 1800 WAT. The Congo doesn't just hide bodies, it swallows history.